Welcome to the first episode of the year from the First Issue Club podcast in 2020. Greg, what is this podcast? What's it about?
Well, thank you for asking. This is a weekly podcast where we cover number one issues, the first issues that come out of each new series. We read them, review them, and help aid you through the muddy and murky water. And it's a reading club, really. Us four, and you, the listener.
You nailed it. And this week, we're going to be covering I Can Sell You a Body on IDW and Thor out on Marvel. But this week, where we would normally jump into the news, we're going to talk about none other than Drake, the heavy hitter of the 2010s, pop artist of the last decade, hip-hop artist phenom. We're going to talk about it here. As if it were news, it kind of is news, and we enjoy talking about it. Did you guys watch this 2-hour plus interview that Drake did with Rap Radar?
No. Should I have?
It's good. If you're a Drake fan, it is worth seeing.
Does he talk about how he grooms chicks?
He doesn't. He missed that one. But he does talk about literally every other controversy with a composure that is, frankly, kind of refreshing for somebody as high status as he is. And it's really interesting him coming up in this time of, like, Kanye's dissension.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and kind of Jay-Z's retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he's kind of like inheriting the throne. And I think he has like a very like healthy hip hop attitude about it.
As far as volume goes, he's probably the most popular rapper.
So this
right
is
now.
The reason for the interview.
Yeah.
Is because they started off the interview with this. They were like, out of the last 10 years, there was only 400 days that you weren't in the top 10 on Billboard.
Wow.
And 200 of those days was Sicko Mode, which for some reason he's not credited in.
Unbelievable.
Oh, what? Yeah, he's totally in sicko mode.
He's half the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How do you not get credited for that? Travis Scott?
I don't know if they're not like counting features or something like that. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that way, they're like, you were the artist of the decade. Not even hip hop artist, just the artist of the decade. And he's like, yeah. And he just
I know.
He talks about a lot of like interesting things, and like he's really real about everything. He's real about how he like can't sing, and like how he tries to write pop songs, and like his albums are about bangers, and like all of his controversies, and like it was good. I'm a fan. I know that you have your gripes with him, and I don't disagree with those gripes.
Mm-hmm.
But like after I watched it, I was like, this is a true demonstration of the difference between ego and confidence. Drake is very, very, very confident. Mm-hmm. Kanye is very, very egotistical. Mm-hmm. Both can produce like good things, but Drake seems to be more sustaining and reliable. At this point, his tenure is
at this point, yeah.
His tenure is about as half long as Kanye. So
Kanye West is riding a plane straight into the earth right now. Like, I don't know if
he could not. I rode Kanye all the way through his Trump bullshit, his like weird slave bullshit, his like weird rants. But the thing that did me in was Christian albums.
Bad Christian album.
Yeah, that's
well. He did another one.
It wasn't.
I didn't even listen to it.
I didn't either.
Was it produced any better?
Could you have thought there'd be a day where it's like a Kanye album leaked, and like
people don't even care,
and yeah, nobody's like, oh, let me.
Yeah.
I was literally like, if it even shows up in my Spotify, I'm not gonna listen to it.
You remember when people joined fucking Tidal
just to get
one of his albums?
I think it was Watch the Throne though.
No, it was Pablo.
Was it?
Yeah. Pablo released early on Tidal.
Oh, okay.
And that album's good.
Yeah.
It is good.
That album's great.
Here's one of my weird Drake moments from the past 10 years.
Kick it.
This has always baffled me. Did you guys ever watch The Shop?
I have, yeah.
No.
Okay, so it's like this LeBron barbershop, just like dudes shooting the shit in a barbershop show. It's almost like a talk show, but looser form, where they're just kind of soaking in people's conversations.
Yeah.
Might as well be a podcast.
It's like listening to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There is this part where Drake is talking about his rap beef with Meek Mill or somebody.
Sure. That's one of them, yeah.
And they talk about how he could have released another song that was just going to fucking destroy somebody, but it was too mean. And it was like, now's the time to lay off, because the last track you just like slaughtered this guy, and then the next one was like way too personal. And then LeBron is like, tell him what you said to me. You called me and you told me something. Tell him what you said to me. And Drake's like, I said, I didn't want to disappoint you. And LeBron goes, that's right. You could never disappoint me, Drake. You could never disappoint me.
You didn't like that?
I hated that. It was so fucking weird.
I like it.
You like that?
I believe it.
One,
I think it's true.
I hated that LeBron calls out Drake on his show to be like, you called me like a little bitch, not wanting me to be disappointed in you like I was your daddy. Like, it came across like that from LeBron.
Drake has this weird thing where like he considers himself on par with like boxers and NBA stars, but he's just the hip hop version of that.
Yeah.
And so like I love when it like he gets affirmation from somebody like LeBron that's like, yes, your metaphor is correct.
Yeah.
Like you are not what I do.
Yeah.
You're the LeBron James of rap.
Yes, I think he's saying that. I think that's kind of ludicrous, but that's their own metaphor that their
No,
own.
Ludacris is another rapper. We're talking about Drake.
Correct.
Drake, the 20 teens LeBron of rap.
You absolutely could, yeah.
But that doesn't validate the weirdness of the conversation.
Okay, so it is weird.
It was such a bizarre. Why would you care if LeBron was disappointed in you or not?
Because LeBron is famous.
You're a grown man.
I think that he considers like the greats.
Yeah.
So like for us, I guess like Joe Rogan. So if we were like, Joe Rogan, I don't want you to be disappointed in this podcast that we're gonna release, and he'd be like, you could never disappoint me. I would be like, Joe, man, you are the king of podcasts.
Yeah. But this would be us going to somebody who is a chef. We'd be calling the best chef in Kansas City and being like, we didn't want to disappoint you with this hot take we had on our podcast, sir. Is that okay, chef?
And the chef was like, oh, for such a club, you could never disappoint me, ever.
Ragu.
Yes.
Yeah,
Put on a hairnet.
That puts it into perspective of how shitty that conversation was. What's crazy though is he does that, like he talks about that Meek Mill thing.
Yeah.
And do you remember that was back to back?
Yep.
That he like came out with, you know.
Also,
Back
haven't
to
they
back.
done songs together since?
Oh, so they've squashed the beef.
Yep.
And they like have since like,
That's the weirdest thing about rap beefs to me. I mean, we've all heard the song. Drake destroys Meek Mill in this rap.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
hands down.
Yep. And the fact
I'm
that
surprised Meek Mill didn't jump off a goddamn
I
bridge.
could talk Drake all day, but
Do you think him and Nicki Minaj should be together?
Drake,
Yeah.
I don't think they have like romantic love for each other.
Oh, okay. There's always that, like, in every rap song I hear with them in it, Drake's always talking about how,
Like sister, kind of.
no, like how he wants to marry Nicki Minaj.
I don't think
And
so.
how she's just like,
He was with
no.
J-Lo for a minute.
Drake was?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a publicity stunt.
He says they had good times together.
He probably had some. He probably got a little bit of that.
That's like, I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. I guess I'm not.
Whenever he was with Rihanna, I was like,
Great. I think he got his heart broken. I think
good, because Rihanna is too good for Drake.
Mm,
I love Rihanna.
I mean,
I'm Riri all the way.
she's not bad. I like her, but I wouldn't say. I think
she's too hard for him.
she's on the same level. as
He's
him.
he's like soft-hearted. Like, he wears his heart on his sleeve.
He's a romantic. He tries to like woo people.
Yeah, and Rihanna will fucking cut that motherfucker to pieces.
You think?
I think she's hard.
Her tats are sweet.
Yeah, well, there's no debating that, but I feel like she's like the kind of person that just like doesn't need anybody, and like whenever like those soft people approach her, she's just like, oh, I can just cut this dude up real quick.
All right. I could see that, I guess. I don't know that much about Rihanna like that.
Her boyfriend's a billionaire.
Bezos
Yeah, she's dating Bezos.
or Putin?
Pick a bald-headed guy and she's dating him.
Who's her billionaire boyfriend?
I don't know, some tech mogul.
Everything you've been saying for the last 5 minutes sounds like rap fan fiction.
Me?
Both of you.
It does sound like fanfic.
I have one final statement about rap, and then we can go somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about Future?
Love him.
Yeah, I like Future.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
I
What, you gonna-
can't get into his stuff.
Why? It's so good.
I just can't.
He's mayor of Atlanta. He's so like his hits are golden.
What do you mean he's mayor of Atlanta?
Like he's like
Unofficial.
He's checked in the most on that app that makes you mayor.
Yes. I think he gives to the community. I think he's somebody. He's a true somebody like Tech Nine is here.
Yeah.
He's not just like an Atlanta kind of like fly by night person.
Right.
And I think he's like I think he has true storytelling techniques and he writes hits. Like that is weird to me. Like he's kind of like just a layup as far as like people.
I can't.
Really?
I can't. I don't know what about it. I don't know if the beats don't connect with me or like his auto tune or whatever, but
You don't like Mask Off?
I can't even tell you what that sounds like.
What?
I feel like you're just like playing with us.
Yeah. You know the intricacies of Drake's relationships, but you've never heard Mask Off?
Hum it for me.
Hum it. How do you hum any rap song? Mask off. Fuck a mask off. Not enough.
They have a dance for it.
I can't even tell you. Nope.
What?
Actually, okay. So I did like the album that Drake and Future did together.
Okay, yeah.
But I felt like that was because Future was wrangled in.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Bye.
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 Who knew that was going to be the last straw in our friendship?
I mean, I'm not like ride or die Future, but I think he's good.
I'm not
He's
saying
at
that
least good enough to like be aware of his like top 10 worldwide hits.
I think you're just fucking with us.
It's like there's
I'm not a huge fan of
he's unavoidable though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, okay.
The things he said against Russell Wilson, I will never forget.
Are you thinking about Lil B?
No, I don't know.
Did Future have beef with Russell Wilson?
Future was married, or not married, but was dating Sierra.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's
Okay.
true. Yeah.
Why do you know about all these people's love lives?
I
You
hear
can't name their
things.
top single.
I think he likes rap for like the drama. He's all about the drama.
There's some good drama in rap.
There is some. I won't deny you that.
Yeah.
It's like your WWF.
It really is. It's my bread and fucking butter.
I just wanted to join in.
Well, those are good vocal pauses.
Well, we're kicking off 2020, right?
Hey, we had a big year last
Yeah, we
year.
did.
We switched platforms.
Yep.
We're on Spotify now.
Well, I think that's enough of Drake. So why don't we just go ahead and get into these comic books and get this cod passed?
Get this cod passed. Parted.
And get this podcast started.
And I'm a lard ass and I sharted. First up, we got Thor by Donny Cates and Nick Klein.
Now, one thing that you might not know about this run of Thor is that it is on Marvel Comics.
Ah, yes. It didn't switch publishers.
Nope.
Right.
So-
Which is confusing a lot of people.
Yes.
We've gotten a lot of questions on Twitter at First Issue Club. Is Thor still on Marvel?
He looks
Right.
different.
Oftentimes, when a phenomenally successful run on a publisher happens, that publisher says, you can go somewhere else if you want.
Yeah.
But Marvel this time decided to keep Thor.
Yeah.
I think it was a good move.
It was a good
I'd
move.
like to see more Thor Marvel movies.
I'd like to see them keep up with this trend of keeping things.
Yeah.
King Thor just ended.
Yep.
So did Silver Surfer Black. We'll get to why that's important. And now we have.
So did the Thor run that was before this.
Yes, and the Thor run ended, and War of the Realms ended. All of those things matter because.
And you wonder, why did we bring all that up?
Well, tell us, Greg.
Because every one of those events is fucking referenced in this book. Oh shit, we made a
Grave mistake.
no, we
What
didn't.
have we done?
We made a rule that we can't curse as much on the podcast.
Did we say that? No, we just like talked through it.
Right.
We didn't arrive at a rule.
Yeah.
I think I made a rule for myself. I didn't want to curse as much.
Well, why are you making your rule my rule?
Yeah. I
Well-
make my own rules.
Okay. My new rule is to curse less than budget.
You know who you're in charge of, Greg? Yourself.
I need to call
End of list.
I need to call LeBron James real quick.
I'm
hope you're
never.
I don't want to let him
I'm
down.
never
in me,
not
sir.
proud of you. I'm never not proud of you.
Okay. The reason we bring all these up is because every one of those events is mentioned and or referred to in this new Thor book. And that is a big deal because Donny Cates has been building up to this Thor moment with every little small detail he's given out in Venom, in War of the Realms, in Silver Surfer Black, and I think it's all culminating now in this Thor run. And he has some pretty big shoes to fill because Jason Aaron is no longer helming Thor. And he did such a phenomenal job over the decade that it's going to be a tough journey for Mr. Donny Cates.
Let this comic book launch a new generation of comic book consumers. I hope that it does.
In what way?
I think that like if there are people out there being like, I want to dip in a traditional fashion of buying comic books, like I could maybe like get into something new. I hope they lock and load for this Thor run because it's taken off.
I was really impressed by this first issue.
This is a wagon you want to hitch your ride on.
So was I. I had a lot of fun with this first issue. Do you ever find yourself in a situation wherein you say, can't Thor just have a little bit of fun for once, though? I feel like we've seen him just have a shitty time for a good while. I kind of needed a breather.
Well, I think he has a shitty time in the comics, but in the movies, he's certainly comic relief.
No, but that's what I'm saying. As somebody who's been reading these comics forever,
Right.
like, I think I either needed a hiatus from Thor, like, give me a few months in between the King Thor run ending and this run starting, or give me Thor just having, like, a blast, beating some shit up for a little bit. Now, sounds like a major knock. I loved this comic book.
Yep.
It was so good, and the decisions made and the planning you can tell that went into it, unbelievable.
But light it is not.
But light it is not.
Yeah. I can
Maybe we'll get there. Donny Cates can write light.
And he definitely can. I also think like there was a little bit of Iron Man Sharpie on the
Yep.
on Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm.
So did I say that right?
No. Mjolnir.
So you did not.
Mjolnir.
Nope. Still wrong.
Say it again.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Mjolnir.
Wow, this could go on for days.
I
I thought it was Mjolnir.
What did I say?
You corrected me with the wrong thing.
Maybe I did.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
You got it.
I say ner instead of near.
I think so.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Oh, fuck. Now you got me doing it.
What about Mjolnir?
You stop. Turn off his microphone. You're done.
What-
Anyway, the big hammer that Thor carries around.
Well, this would piss people off and get us the worst reviews if we just picked the worst pronunciation of it possible and stuck with
And
it
just ran with it.
really confidently.
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. It's like suction.
Can we make a whole episode of us saying Mjolnir? Just 35 minutes of us going, Mjolnir? Mjolnir?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir?
Donny Cates. Can we get back to the
Yeah,
comics?
go ahead.
Is that,
Yeah.
is that a no for
Is that
one?
okay?
I don't know what the hell you were doing, but yeah, we're ready to talk
Wanted
about
to
it.
talk about his hammer more. It is a prominent character, and think about that. The hammer is a character in and of itself.
Much like New York City.
We crack our asses up here at First Issue Club. Okay. Donny Cates wrote Silver Surfer Black, which is epic
Yes.
and has a lot of like just interesting things that happen. As it was rumored, if you were paying attention at all, that Thor, the God King, would become the Herald of Galactus. That was like, I saw that popping up everywhere on like spec blogs and things like that.
I'm glad I avoided that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Okay, so there's a what if where he becomes the
Is there
Herald
really?
of Galactus that was not released too long ago, and that was like flying like, so somehow I didn't read the previews on this, but somehow the previews must have been very obvious about
Okay.
that. Am I correct?
I avoided it as well because my new resolution for 2020 is spec is dead.
Okay,
And
well
I try to refrain from it.
I'll be your spec guide.
You're my spec guy from now on.
Okay, so that was the case. I had no idea how it was going to get to there. Bringing it through the timeline of Silver Surfer Black was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
To transfer it through that way, and connecting those. And I am a sucker for Galactus. I just think he's one of the most like interesting, like fun stories.
Difficult backstory.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of people know about who Galactus was before he was Galactus.
Well, Silver Surfer Black was a great quick primer for that too.
He was.
Yeah.
And he was prominent in Doctor Strange for a minute, the last run of it. And so he's been like popping in and out and stuff, most famously in Fantastic Four, I think is where he... Isn't that like he pretty...
100%
Yes.
is. I read a lot of Fantastic Four when I was younger too, so I always have a nice connection to this character when he pops back up.
Did you guys notice one small little detail in this book that I thought was really nice? They didn't call him Silver Surfer.
Oh, yeah.
They
Norrin?
called him Surfer.
Oh, they called him just Surfer?
And by his given name. Thor called him by his given name.
Yeah.
And it's true. He's not Silver anymore.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So they just called him Surfer. Which I thought
Interesting.
was like, when you notice it, you're like, holy cow, like they changed it.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a really great
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
catch.
even notice that.
So essentially what we have here is that through all of these timelines, Thor is now inherited Zeus. So he's the king.
Oh, time out. What?
Odin, sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Zeus, Odin.
Odin is dead.
Yes.
From War of the Realms, we find out that Odin had died.
Yes. Okay.
So now he's the new king.
One interesting thing about being the king of Asgard is that apparently it imbues you with new powers.
Yeah. And that
I
crazy?
wasn't aware of that.
In that he can stop his hammer, I guess.
Mid-flight.
That's the only thing we really got teased at. I guess the king of Asgard is ultimately the person who created Mjolnir. So makes sense that he would have some sort of control or power over it.
Okay, one of the coolest things, and Donny Cates does this really well, is the hammer is getting heavier. And so Donny Cates does a little nod to the audience, and he's like, Thor doesn't know this, but this is going to have big implications. I think essentially saying, like, there's going to be a new Thor in this run.
I think there has to be.
Why? That just happened.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Are we going to retire him for good this time?
Doubtful.
Who do you think is going to inherit the hammer?
Hopefully no one.
I was curious about what Donny Cates was trying to get across there. I
So
didn't know if
was
it was like the hammer was becoming too heavy for him because he had chosen like a new role.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown or the
Yeah,
person who
yeah.
wields the
Right.
hammer.
Like, what theme is he trying to play at here? And so that's another rabbit hole I'm excited to go down with this series of just like, he's not becoming unworthy.
Yeah.
It's just that maybe the story is going to lead us to he needs to focus on being the true king of Asgard.
Oh, yeah.
That is his new title.
Yep.
You're no
And-
longer
And now
Thor.
also Herald of Galactus.
Harold, yeah. Which I think, yeah, holy shit. So many things were just introduced in this comic
So
book.
is that technically, when somebody becomes a new Herald, is that a new character?
Yeah, this is a first appearance
It is?
of Harold Thor.
Herald Thor? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Not that it matters, but yeah. So it switches. Hammer switches to somebody new. I'm guessing it's going to go to Loki.
Ugh,
That's just
no thank you.
yeah.
Think that's dumb?
I'm out on that.
I hope
I'd be happy if
I
it
hope
was-
it's not a white dude.
If it's better,
Beta Ray Bill
yeah. If it's him, that'd be cool. I'd be interested in seeing more of him.
or Cosmic Ghost Rider.
No.
You don't want him wielding?
No. That's like giving Deadpool the hammer.
It was
It
cool
is.
to see the conference of all like the heralds.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. To figure out what the hell they're going to do with Galactus.
Who is Dolphin Head in that?
I didn't know who
question.
Or Flipperhead?
I didn't know who
Yeah.
2/3 of that table
Yeah,
was.
okay.
That's some deep Marvel stuff right there.
That's cool that he was able to, like, in literally a page, he just says, boop, all the heralds ever
Yep.
here. Except for Doctor Strange wasn't there.
That's true. He wasn't there. Well, I don't think every herald was.
Okay. Most of the heralds.
Most of them, yeah.
As many as they could muster.
Okay.
Or who heeded the call to join them.
Heralds?
Heralds assemble! And some guy named Harold shows up. He's like, "Hi, I got this."
Would you guys
Email?
would you guys read an offshoot of all the heralds like that didn't get chosen now? So like
That didn't get chosen.
so like Thor's now the herald. And so
Yes.
all the heralds are just sitting there being like, what the fuck will we do? And so they go like play Twister or something.
It's called Hark the Heralds.
Ooh, I like that. Hark the heralds.
No, I wouldn't.
You want to read that? Okay.
Wait, who's writing it?
Stanley
Oh, shit.
and Jack Kirby.
I don't know.
If
Maybe
you're
I would
gonna
read
get
that.
read it now. Okay, little bitch. Thank you.
I mean, I might.
Showed you.
Yeah, you really got me.
Ever heard of him?
Oh, man. Rough 2020 for Greg so far.
Yeah, I'm getting fucking dunked on. I don't know who Future is.
This comic book was great. It was like fantastic.
Well,
number one.
One of the cool things is that when you think about Thor, there's a couple different archetypes or visions of Thor you could have. One is like medieval, one is like that sort of Grecian, Zeusian sort of god. And then there was also 80s fantasy metal sort of character.
Yeah.
And I think the rainbow themes and his new look with like the long hair and the headband thing, he looks like an 80s
Yeah.
rock god.
He should be in Man of War.
Yeah.
I also think there's like Thor the Alien, like Thor the science
Oh,
fiction novel,
yeah,
like which is
sure.
not
Common.
No, sorry, is also part of that 80s fantasy like
Yeah.
metal thing is like a little bit of that sci-fi stuff.
Totally.
So yeah, I think you're getting like a sci-fi.
Where was he in that?
80s hair
Oh,
metal.
like he's from another planet, so technically he's like an alien?
Yeah,
Kind of
but-
thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's
But-
going to be exploring the cosmos.
But I think this is going to
Yeah.
turn into like a sci-fi book,
Yep.
which is so. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is also going to come into play here.
Yeah. Yep.
which Cates has been writing. It's moving over to someone else, though, right?
I think it's already moved.
Has it?
Al Ewing.
Al Ewing, that's right.
Yeah. Which will be fucking dope.
How badass was it that Galactus was missing an arm?
So cool looking.
You got to say something fucked up happened.
What did they call that winner again? Was it the Black Winner?
Black Winter.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
we're led to believe that's Null, right?
Oh, I hadn't gone there. That makes sense though.
That's what I assume is coming.
I would, after Silver Surfer Black, I would assume.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that Galactus takes the form of what he looks like in your head?
That was my next question, if you guys knew that or not.
I didn't know that.
I think I had read it like a few months ago because I was wondering who the fuck Galactus was. Because like I think I was reading some like article about like how Galactus could be introduced to the MCU, and I was like, I honestly don't know who the fuck.
Whoa.
Galactus
Wait, this
is.
is blowing my mind right now. That totally makes sense for him being a cloud in the Fantastic Four movies then.
Why does it make sense?
Because he takes the form of your mind, like what's in your mind. He's not just traditionally purple
Yeah.
guy with purple hat.
Humans wouldn't perceive Galactus as a 400-foot tall man.
Right. They could just he's like a cloud.
I assumed that it took on whatever species you were.
Oh, like he looks like a horse to horses?
Yes.
Oh. Maybe
And a duck to Howard the Duck.
so maybe that movie was just saying we're actually clouds.
Ooh, whoa, there's a deeper level to that movie now. Holy shit.
People hated it, now they love it.
Well, now that we all realize that we're clouds. You know what's fucked up? I have the same powers as Galactus.
Do tell.
Like, when you look at me, is not what Mike D sees when he looks at me.
For real?
Yeah.
Like how you see a little bitch.
What do you see?
Strong man.
Strong man.
Strong, handsome man.
Yeah. I could see that, I guess.
You don't sound too convinced.
I'm still on this cloud thing. I'm a cloud. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Like Marvel constantly has been blowing us away with like number ones. I think a lot that happened a lot in 2019.
Yep. 2019 belonged to Marvel.
Did it? Yeah. It's Marvel's had a good run. I think it did really good in 2018 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting strong in 2020. Do you guys know if there's like an event, there couldn't have been a midnight release. This was also one of the weirdest fucking weeks for it to release itself.
Oh, the last 2 weeks have been weird.
Because this technically would have came out on Wednesday, which is a holiday. So most shops got this on a Thursday, which is like, if I'm Marvel, I'm not releasing one of my biggest books on this like weird day where people don't even know when to buy it.
Yeah.
They had like 23 different covers.
That's a great point.
So
Very weird.
yeah. I mean, maybe they just like had to start the first week. And they also knew, and maybe this is smart, there wasn't a lot of competition for this book this week.
Sure.
So
Everybody's buying it.
I guess unless you're reading Avengers Tarot or whatever.
Even I'm not picking that up.
Yeah.
And I pick up everything.
Really? You didn't pick that up?
No.
Good call. It like the art looked cool, but whatever the fuck it is.
I'll find you in a dollar bin.
I think so. That's safe to say.
Yeah. This was a lot of anticipation, Greg, and you are like our Thor master.
Great question.
Yes.
It's coming.
How did you feel about this?
Yep.
Like,
That's the great question that's coming.
No, because you've got a boner for Thor.
I do have a boner
And you've
for
read
Thor.
like
Yes.
more of these books than anybody.
and you're a Jason
Yes.
Aaron guy, so now
Yes.
it's changing hands.
Yes. I thought the setup was perfect. What you got was the intro into where Thor has been and what he's gone through in the last few years in his series in this 3-panel setup of basically Thor's hammer being an intercom system through the realms, letting the entire realms know that Odin is dead. I am the new king.
And I'm not having your shit.
And that's basically it. He's just like, knock it the fuck off. We're going to have peace whether I have to raise a little hell or not. And I thought that was great. The idea that he is kind of reluctant because he has built up his whole life that he wanted to be king of Asgard. And now that he is, he's just like, well, fuck, now I can't be an Avenger or go off. It's like when you like get married or have a kid, you're just like, oh shit, my life's totally different now. I can't go out to the bars with my buddies anymore, or I can't, buy whatever I want whenever I want. Like, this is a new lifestyle for him, and it's going to be a lot of growing pains for Thor and a new role. So that's kind of cool to see that character go through that. And like, he's trying to make the role of being king his own. Like, he made his own throne from the everlasting tree or whatever. And like, it's built into that because that's where Mjolnir is like created. Like, that's what is a vital part of his identity. So just to see that all weaved into one book was really cool.
Are you frustrated at all that there's a huge build and anticipation for him to be a king and move into a whole new phase of the character, only to have him immediately thrust back into superheroing? Like, we're changing your whole aspect and your whole thing to be a king, and then partway through the issue, served up, you are now the Herald of Galactus. That's
Right.
like a whole other subset of identity.
No, because I think through this trial that he has to go through now, he's probably going to come to a realization of what it means to be a leader or to be a king and like to accept that role or something along those lines. So I know it serves a purpose.
Do you think that this is autobiographical for Donny Cates in some ways, of him also saying that he's inheriting the throne of Marvel
Oh.
and creating a new throne?
Well,
2 years ago, we said Donny Cates would be the new Jason Aaron. And here he is.
and here he is, yeah. Probably a little bit. Like, he wants to make it his own, so he's kind of shifting it up. It's like when when a new principal comes into your school. Just like, hey, I may do things a little differently, but everything's going to stay the same. Lunch is still at noon. You get 2 recesses a day. It's gonna be fine.
I mean, yeah, that's a great metaphor. The other thing that could be autobiographical is at the end, he pens an amazing
The letter was great.
Yeah, that was a
we all
great
read
letter.
it.
Yeah. Letter to the reader, wherein he says like, "Hey, I got news for you. When you become a comic book artist, a little part of you like dies. You got to grow up because you see how the meat is made."
Yeah, you lose the magic.
And in some ways, like that's what the story is about. Like you said it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Thor loses the magic a little bit by having to grow up, but then he ends that story with like, "But Thor always got to keep the magic for me." And like he kind of ends the story with like, "But there might be a little magic for Thor now."
Yeah. And this may just be like Thor's last hurrah kind of thing as like a big,
His baby moon.
yeah.
He's going to be the most powerful version of Thor he's ever been. I'm assuming.
Which is crazy because we've seen a pretty powerful Thor the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know he could get any stronger.
But he's inherited the power cosmic.
All right, yeah. If you didn't know Thor was coming out, you were living under a rock, or maybe you were just enjoying your holiday, which you should have done as well. I hope you had a nice one.
Yeah. This is a pretty good intro for Donny Cates into the Thor helm. I'm pretty sure it calmed a lot of people's worries about how he was going to do. So I think Marvel can breathe a sigh of relief that seems to be on track for what people are going to enjoy.
And I can already say, even though we've read 2 first issues in 2020, this is probably a contender for best first issue of the year.
It certainly is, yes.
I would agree.
He baked this one for a long time.
Yeah, you do something with this much history and build up, and then to have it also feel like a first issue too,
Yep.
and not just like Thor 748 with a 1 on it. It definitely felt like a first issue, but with a lot of history behind it.
Do you think Null is the big bad that's coming?
Yeah.
Do you think he dies for real with this Thor run? Like that's what's gonna be the overarching story that he's gonna tell, is the death of Null.
Yeah.
You think Null is so bad that he's like fucking around with Galactus, just blowing Galactus up like that?
Yeah, I feel like Null's just chaos and like he's a eater of realities.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So maybe.
It'd be nice if it was even bigger than Null.
What's bigger than Null? The dude eats realities. Maybe, potentially. We don't know yet. Could be a different guy.
Well, he's a part of like a bigger thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
The blackness.
Uh-huh.
It's good. It's a good thing when you like get so crazy when you're like, how do we make something bigger? Oh, he fucking destroys reality. He's the color black. He's just dark.
He is the void.
Yep. Top that. Oh, well, it's actually the guy writing the comic. That's the big bad. That's the only way you get bigger than that.
Yeah, remember
You
when
go meta.
Remember when Doomsday was the worst thing we could think of?
He
Just a
punched
big rock
Superman
guy?
and made him bleed?
How about,
wow.
How about all of reality ceases to exist, motherfucker?
That's my power.
Oh, you can punch Superman? Cool. How about I just erase you?
Yeah, I halt everything. Cool.
All right, that was Thor. Number 1.
Next up, we have I Can Sell You a Body. Who's it by? Mike D?
Oh, this is by Ryan Ferrier and George Combadius.
Do we like Ryan Ferrier?
I do.
He's great.
I'm a Ryan Ferrier fan.
Same.
Yep.
What's Ryan Ferrier done for those that don't know?
Oh, Tiger Lawyer.
Tiger Lawyer, yes. I don't know if that's his most famous,
I don't
but
think
Did
it
he
is.
do God Hates Astronauts?
he did. Yes.
That book's awesome.
Yeah.
He always does a tinge of humor,
Yep.
and he is a super nice guy
He is very
Yeah,
nice.
he's
con.
rad.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he is very talented at writing comic books. So this is an IDW book, which we sometimes shit on, but they
Are you
have.
setting up all this nice for something that comes down the pipe that...
I'm actually not, so this will be a nice conversation.
Okay.
I didn't hate this book, but I was gonna say that sometimes we shit on IDW for just being like, not not a trustworthy publisher that people can sink their teeth into.
It's a lot of superficial titles.
So yeah, and then a lot of like just like weird risks that don't make sense sometimes.
Yeah.
But this is a newer book with a fantastic cover, fantastic author.
The cover was so striking. I saw it in my upcoming comics list, and I was like, we have to cover this just based on that.
And the title, which is I guess seems to be a little bit the fad these days is to name your comic book exactly what it is, a la Basket Full of Heads.
And Thor.
There you go. And so, yeah, this is a new comic book that the premise is that there is a medium. Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah.
They call him a psychic, though. He can talk to the dead, and he's making a career of it. But, he got into some trouble with some mafioso people. He owes them $100,000, and he needs to bring Papa back and put it into a new body, which is a new power that he has. He can not only talk to dead people, which he's been making a living on and he was famous for on a television show, but now he can take those people and put them into a body, although he has not mastered how that happens.
You nailed it.
Got it.
Sometimes when I read a comic book and it's based on like a story or like a
character type? Or...
Yeah, or like a model of like, this is the thing that's happening, I like look at like, is that how that would be like? And this thing being like guy that talks to dead people.
But actually does it?
Yeah, like, and figures that out. I was like, is that how that would actually be? And I was like, no, this book does not feel like that representation at all. And in some ways, like, I think Ryan also knew that, and it was kind of like he had fun with it, where he's like, I know this is weird, like I'm not really nailing it, like a lot of other people have nailed it, go see Ghost. I'm intentionally not nailing it because I want to be
like
a little
funner with it.
Yeah, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek with it, which to me made for a lighter, more fun read.
Yep.
It's going to be a 4-parter, and it's like a little bit of a mystery kind of detective thing on it. Is this like a...
I like that a book this silly isn't that high of a commitment.
It definitely upped the silly real quickly.
Yep.
Greg, you seem unimpressed, so let's visit that.
I think it's just that I was a little underwhelmed by this book.
I
just felt like the writing was clunky. The story went in like really kind of predictable ways, and I don't know, like as a reader, it didn't really hit it for me.
I think one point where I will agree with you, Cinna Grace recently was doing like a teen book on Boom.
Oh, Ghosted in L.A.?
Yeah, that is, I'll have to say, like a better version of this, I think. It was just, it's a similar concept, but it's like a little bit more, has more to it.
Yeah.
Whereas like there is a lot of predictableness in it, in this book. So yes, it has that. Mike?
Yeah.
I enjoyed this character as a lead. When I picture TV psychic, I definitely picture washed up guy, and he's certainly that. I loved his relationship with his secretary, who hasn't been getting a paycheck. He's essentially got like a shrink's office, but people come to him, and he's just making up costs of things on the fly, and actually giving people what they're asking for. So I think it was kind of an interesting take on a thing where you normally expect the guy to be a hack. Now he's promising something that he can like kind of sell, and he's the most irresponsible loser like of all time, and to a comical extent. Like, it's absurd how ridiculously irresponsible he is. A prime example being he has a potential client walk into his door who's this beautiful woman, and she stands to make this big inheritance. And you think, oh, this is going to be his meal ticket, and we're going to ride his relationship with this woman over the next few issues trying to get this inheritance. Turns out she has no inheritance, and he gives her all the money he has left.
Because he's like, I'm going to die anyway.
Because he's like, I'm going to die anyway. I've resolved to saying I'm not going to be able to get this mob boss in a new body, and I'm not going to be able to get the money they want anyway. So I'm going to give the head start that I have just away to somebody.
That is like the thing that I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah. I also
He just rolls the dice.
I also think it's funny that there's essentially a mob in Ghost World.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ghost World isn't like heaven or hell, it's just a bunch of translucent people on Earth that pop in and pop out, and they're racketeering and beating dudes up in Ghost World too.
Yeah, the dude was tied to a ghost chair with ghost ropes. Is there like a general store in the afterlife that we're not being told about?
Also, like, think about just the absurdity of, like, so he has to physically go, like, turn around and talk to everybody dead to find them, to, like, bring them to the person. That is infinite amounts of people. Like, how he can just catalog through that casually. He's like, oh, not you, somebody else? It's just absurd.
Yeah.
That's why I was, like, saying, like, no, this is not how that works. But, like, for this comic, it's, like, just absurd enough to work, I think.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that
What order did you read these in?
you know damn well what order I read these
you
in.
read Thor first, and then
Yeah.
I Can Sell You a Body.
And I did myself no services.
The first thing I said when I came in and gave Budget King the comics to read, I said, read I Can Sell You a Body first.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you curated
Otherwise,
that experience for
It's
me.
going to seem underwhelming after this iconic story arc that's been building for
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
It's a nice appetizer.
Yeah, right.
That's if people are going to read comic books this week, read them in exactly that order.
Spoiled.
I'm done with I Can Sell You a Body. Would recommend if you're in for some light fare.
Yeah, sure.
If you've got whatever $3.99 to blow.
If you need to pause on it and just wait for all 4 to come out, I think it's
Fine.
going to be a fun read.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if you like mystery kind of stuff. It is funny. It's legitimately like a funny read.
Yeah.
You can't say when he has that fake ad, you didn't like smile a little bit.
Yeah. It was great.
Man, not everything.
It didn't connect with me as a reader. I'm
not
sorry.
everything can be Seinfeld.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? Corn nuts and everything you read? Fucking A, Greg.
2020 rips so hard. What do you think is going to happen in 2020?
This
Comic
is
book
good.
wise.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is good. Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Let me put on my Jay Leno thinking cap
Thank you.
and give you some pre-comic book headlines. Some 2020 comic book predicting the headlines.
I think that Valiant's gonna try to dip into their like Bloodshot, whatever fame, Rye, all that kind of stuff. And I think
Well,
it's
because that movie's coming out too.
I think it is going to crash and burn. We will see the non-existence of Valiant.
I want them to succeed so badly.
I do too.
They have the history and all the lore and all the characters are there. They just need someone to iron it all out and fucking streamline it.
I hope they succeed wholeheartedly.
Do you ever think they've thought about taking their classic characters, putting number 1 on those issues, and then like trying to kind of like reposition the characters for like a modern audience?
I think
No.
that happens every 3 weeks for
It
them.
happens every fucking 3 weeks, and no one gives a shit ever.
With Valiant, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I hope this is Valiant's year. I hope this is the year of Valiant.
It's not gonna be.
Here's how you fix Valiant. You make them all babies.
That fixes mostly everything, I think.
Valiant Jr.,
Yeah.
Baby Bloodshot,
Baby Ninjak.
Baby Faith.
You're right. That's so right. You need Valiant's hiring like weirdos all the time. I see it on all my headlines. They need to hire you, make you the baby genius of Valiant.
Can you imagine me going into a meeting? All right, everyone. There's one rule only. Make them babies.
It's all babies.
I am carried out of that meeting on their shoulders.
Yeah. Now they wouldn't make you a billionaire because I know that makes you upset. But damn, you would be close.
It makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Makes me nervous to be a billionaire.
Free money.
Any other predictions in 2020?
I think Marvel tops DC again.
Mm-hmm.
As far as content, not sales. Because for whatever fucking reason, people buy DC books out the ass. We saw this time and time again last year when we looked at the top selling books of the month or the week or whatever. And every time it was DC just selling hordes of copies. Hordes of Detective Comics 932 for whatever goddamn reason.
Is there a mainstream comic book character that's transgender?
None that I can think of off the top of my
I
head.
bet that happens in 2020.
Like a more prominent
a
one?
mainstream one. Yeah, it does. I could see that. I think there are like genderless.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, okay, that's a good call.
I bet
As far as like the big two, because they really haven't played around with that.
this is probably going to be the year that Stan Lee croaks. And that is going to be a sad, sad day in comics.
Yeah, it's a.
We'll pick that up after the episode, and we have to have a conversation. That is a good excuse as any to say goodbye, and we'll see you next
I have
week.
no idea how this episode ends. This is
It's a fade to black. It's The Sopranos.
this is a trip, and then we were falling down the hill, and we just kept rolling, and then somebody gave us wheels, and we're rolling. And now we
Yeah.
started again.
Well, we were off for 2 weeks because of the holiday. We had
That's
those
true.
holiday episodes all
Yeah.
set up. It's going to take us a few to get back in it.
Yeah.
Caitlin's not here because she's sick, so she can't really be the voice of reason.
Oh, we didn't do the thing where we say who's on the episode. Does that matter?
They fucking know by now.
Yep.
Well, they know by now, but maybe it would have been a hard intro. Sorry, guys, if this is hard to listen to. If this needs to end at all, then let us know.
We've been doing this since 2017, so
Yeah, if we're done, then give us the notice, I guess.
we just don't want to let you down. LeBron, call us.
This has been another episode of First Issue Club. We are a proud member of the Fountain City Frequency family of podcasts. Our music is provided by Primary Color Music. We are recorded in KCUR Studios. You can find us, rate us, friend, and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email, and your favorite listening platforms at First Issue Club, FIRST.